There's no way that this just happened as the Toronto Blue Jays, in ridiculous fashion, come out and do quite literally the unthinkable. We're going to break down exactly what happened, discuss what it means going forward as, ladies and gentlemen, the Jays are back. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. Before we get into it, if you're part of the 71% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable, and thank you guys for it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jays are back. Obviously, I'm half kidding with that. Coming into this game, vibes were at an all-time low. The offense was putrid. And for most of this game, the offense was very, very putrid. But what happened next in this game is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Let's dive right into it. And again, there were points in this game after the 4th, the 5th inning where everyone, myself included, Jays Nation, everyone was saying, hey, people were calling for the season to be over, which, quite frankly, I don't blame them, at all, because coming into this game, they had lost a ton in a row. They're 2-8 in their last 10. You're going up against a division rival, and you are struggling right now. And you go down 6-0. And what happens next is something that, when the Jays go down 6-0 in the year of 2025, we all thought this game was completely wraps. People, I'm sure, turned on playoff hockey, basketball, Lakers, whatever it was, Luka Doncic. However, ladies and gentlemen, the Toronto Blue Jays won a ball game where they hit a ton of home runs, where they came back on an Alejandro Kirk walk-off. Oh, I'm absolutely fired up. Let's start with it. Bichette, 2 for 5. And the top of the order today was the star of the show, including Anthony Santander. Fantastic game from him. We're going to dive into his big home run. But Bichette went 2 for 5, had a double. He was one of the guys who was really playing well for this team. And this is a huge win for the Toronto Blue Jays. Bichette with a couple hits. Vladdy with 1 hit. Not the best game from him, but we'll dive into later in the extra innings what really won the game. Santander, 6-3, bottom of the 7th, I believe it was, hits an absolute moonshot, no doubter, to tie the game, making it a 6-6 game. And of course, the Jays ultimately ended up winning. But for a guy in Anthony Santander, who quite literally has had one of the worst starts, to this season on this team, for him to come out and be able to do what he did tonight, specifically hitting what he's paid to do, which is a clutch 3-run home run, is not only exactly what we needed, desperately what the Jays needed, but it was exactly what Anthony Santander needed for his confidence and for him to hit that home run. And let's not forget, there's so much to go over. Dalton Varsho with the game of the year for him, coming off of the best catch you've arguably ever seen. Santander with the big home run. Varsho with the home run. Alejandro Kirk with the home run. You had back-to-back home runs from Kirk and Varsho on the pitching staff. This was a bullpen game, by the way. And don't even get me started. Jeff Hoffman, there's so many things to dive into, but we'll go one by one. Again, Santander, a huge 3-run home run to tie the game at 6-3. The resilience for this team, and, they hit their 3 home runs. They haven't been hitting any home runs. Seeing the Jays hit 3 home runs in 2025 is, unbelievable. It is absurd. But again, this team, we know they're better than the record. Their offense, in theory, should be better. I mentioned in the videos that having Dalton Varsho stretches out this lineup. And a lot of you guys disagreed in the comment section. I saw, and all you guys disagreed. And because he hasn't been a great hitter in the past, he looked fantastic in spring, and he's starting to hit for some more power. And that's what he did today. He hit for more power. It is as simple as that. And he hit a home run. Him and Alejandro Kirk went back-to-back to, and the game wasn't super close. They made it 6-3 after going, they went back-to-back, made it 6-3. We're thinking, okay, the Jays still, 6-3, a 3-run deficit is still absurd at this point. But they were able to get it done just by continuing to fight. And if there was ever a time to need a win, you're now 2 games under 500, which isn't great. But again, it's a division win. Shout out to Dalton Varsho. He is going to be absolutely huge for this team. Base running, defense is excellent. He is going to be crucial to the Toronto Blue Jays team, and having him back helped the Jays win this game. Berger struggled today. Andres Gimenez is really not swinging the bat well. Clement almost had a home run, but he also went 2 for 4. So huge shout out to Clement. And of course, Alejandro Kirk, who got a home run. And then in the the bottom of the 10th inning, and we'll dive into the pitching in a minute, men on third, 1 out, and they walk both Springer and Varsho to get up Alejandro Kirk, who had already hit a home run, and he hits a missile into left field for a, RBI single, they'll probably call it, or whatever, double, to win the game. The Jays win, and huge shout out, to Alejandro Kirk, and also shout out to Vladdy when there was man on second, and Santander hit a sac fly to get him, fly ball that moved the runner over. It wasn't a sac fly because no one scored. He went from second to third, and the ball hit him, and he dove so early. A very risky play on Rafaela, because Rafaela is unbelievable. However, he had no chance. it hit Vladdy, and that ultimately, obviously, it hit his butt, and then he was able to get in the third, man on first, or man on third with one out. You win the ball game, and this was a win you desperately needed. And ladies and gentlemen, again, in case you missed it, you had Varsho and Kirk give the Blue Jays back-to-back homers for the first time this season. It's only the second time this year they got deep more than once in a game, which is a sickening stat. And then Santander hit another bomb to tie it in the 7th inning. First time this season they've hit 3 home runs in the game. And it's exactly what all of us have finally been waiting for, finally been looking for. And I have to give some credit to the pitching staff, mainly the back end of the bullpen. Yuri Rodriguez was horrible. He looked erratic. Eric Lauer, got to give him some credit. 4 innings, 2 runs against one of the best offenses in baseball and the hottest offense in the AL East right now, maybe alongside the Yankees. Overall, though, the Red Sox have been dominating. 4 innings, 2 runs, you take it. It's not amazing. 4.5 ERA, you take it. Chad Green, bad outing for him. He gave up 2 runs after the back-to-back homers. Jimmy Garcia, Brendan Little, and Jeff Hoffman. We know how good the back end of this bullpen is. The problem is the Jays haven't been leading enough for it to matter. If this offense can turn around, and the lineup already looks 10 times better with Varsho in there, you move everyone down. If this lineup can start hitting the way we know they're capable of, you have the best back end of the bullpen in baseball. It's not even an exaggeration. Jimmy Garcia has a 0 ERA. Jeff Hoffman comes out, mows down the top of the order in the top of the 9th, comes back out for the Manfred runner, just mows them down, strikes out Abreu, 98 down the middle, just challenges him, strikes him out. The best reliever, one of the best relievers in baseball, alongside Aroldis Chapman, who mowed down the Jays. All credit to him in the bottom of the 9th. The back end of the bullpen is so elite. The pitching staff needs some work. Max Scherzer's hopefully going to be coming back soon. If you can just start to be decent, hit for some power. Santander starts to get his power going. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. starts to get his power going. Springer continues to, hit fairly well. You have Bichette, if he can tap into that power. The upside is there. The downside is absolutely there as well. If this team doesn't hit, they have a lot of guys who are incapable of hitting home runs sometimes, which leads to horrible offense. But you also have one of the best back ends of the bullpen in baseball. You have some of the highest, upside home run hitters, Vladdy and, Santander. Varsho being back solidifies your center field position, the best defender in baseball. Vandres Jimenez has started to hit a little bit. Ernie Clement has turned the season around a ton. He's now up to 239, where if you were keeping up with his stats, he was hitting horrible before that. The season's back on. A lot of people wrote off the season. The season is back on, and just seeing this comeback tonight, yes, the record's still not great, but seeing this comeback is exactly what you need. And it's not great. I'm not happy with the way that this season has gone thus far. You were 12-8 at one point. You go on a run now. This month is horrible. We've seen the worst Blue Jays baseball I've ever witnessed with my 2 eyeballs, and that's saying something. But guess what? You have a chance with a win tomorrow to finish the month. Yes, finish the month 1 game under 500. You're not 8 games under 500, 9 games under 500. You're right in the thick of it. You were right in the race, and this win tonight was massive, absolutely massive. It's a long season, and that's why it's a long season for games like this. And ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe it happened. The Jays did it. They finally won a game with power. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap it up. Oh, man. The Jays are back. The Jays are back.